Well, on Things to Know today, we're going to talk about Fender Blackface amps from the 60s. I play guitar and have for many years, and I like to use Fender amps. They made great amps, a number of them in the mid 60s. I used to have a Fender Deluxe and a Fender Princeton Reverb. Smallish combo amps. Oh, the Princeton had a single 10. The Deluxe had a single 12. Both great amps, not very loud, which made them really nice to work with. They didn't overpower the stage. If you really needed to put a sound up through the PA, you just hang a mic in front of them. But I learned a couple things. On the Princeton, I was playing a gig, and it just sort of began to fizzle out. The volume cut to about half, and sort of confusing and frustrating. And it turned out the rectifier tube was dying on me. I was listening to it die during the gig, so it was unpleasant. And what I discovered is you can remove that glass rectifier tube and replace it with a solid state rectifier. Costs you about $15 on eBay. Number of people that make them. Now, true purists will say, "Oh no, you're going to lose the sag involved in a real rectifier tube." I couldn't hear it. I did A/B tests in an afternoon. I'd put in a regular glass bottle rectifier tube. I'd play for a while. I'd put in the solid state device, which is about half an inch tall. Could not tell any difference whatsoever. So I put the solid state rectifier in and never looked back. I never had another problem. Now I think it's got 5 tubes in it, so you still got a couple 6V6s and a few 12AX7s in it. So you still got tubes and they can still die, get bad, break in very rare instances. But boy, that solid state rectifier, one of the best tips I have for you, if you're a guitar player and you're using a Princeton or a Deluxe, put in a solid state rectifier. You'll never know it. The only way you will know it is it'll never wear out. You'll never be in the middle of a gig and have your rectifier tube die. I've had it happen on Fenders. I used to play through a Vox AC30, had the same thing happen. So my first tip, Fender Princeton, put in a solid state rectifier. Fender Deluxe, solid state rectifier. Now back to the Princeton. It's got a single 10 in it. For, I don't know, 50, 60, $80, you can buy a different baffle that allows you to put a 12-inch speaker in a Fender Princeton. Best thing you'll ever do in your life. Put a 12-inch speaker in your Fender Princeton, and it just opens the amp up. It makes it sound so much better. There's really no comparison. The 10-inch really has a tendency to flub out, especially on the low notes, your low E string. That 10 just can't hold up to much. But the 12, I prefer either Celestion 12s or Mesa Boogie 12s, which are actually, I think, private label and made by Celestion. But you put a 12-inch in your little Fender Princeton and all 12 screaming watts will come out of that speaker to make your amp open up and sound much, much better. Slightly louder, but it's more its ability to articulate and manage the whole guitar and not flub out like a 10-inch. So my second recommendation, put a 12-inch speaker in your Fender Princeton. Couple thoughts on tubes. Use 6V6 GTA. Their ability to handle a little bit higher plate voltages than just a 6V6 GT. Use a 6V6 GTA. I highly recommend new old stock vintage tubes, Sylvania, RCA, GE. You can't go wrong with any of the three. Pretty much the same thing on the 12 AX7s. Just use vintage new old stock tubes. I prefer Raytheon, believe it or not. They just have a thickness to them. Adds a little thickness to the amp. Sounds great, warm. But RCA made great AX7s. GE made great AX7s. Sylvania as well. I don't want to forget good old Sylvania. What are some more thoughts on the Princeton? I guess that's about it. Mine was stolen. I had a 1966, unfortunately stolen. That's a whole different story. That's a story about the human condition and the ability to trust your fellow man. But believe me, that's a different video. Pretty much the same advice on a Deluxe. Put a solid state rectifier in it. Put your new old stock tubes in it. You've got a 12-inch speaker. I always took the factory 12 out. I had a 65 Deluxe, and those speakers, Jensen or Oxford, they were pretty crappy, truth be told. So if you're actually using, say, a distortion pedal and driving a Deluxe or a Fender Princeton, you really want a modern speaker in it. A Celestion Mesa Boogie makes a great 12-inch speaker. I think it's a 90-watt speaker, and I think it's private labeled by Celestion. But put in a real modern speaker ready to handle the heavier loads that we want out of amps nowadays, and you'll never look back. Take that old Fender, Oxford, or Jensen speaker, stick it on your shelf like I did, and it collect dust for the next 30 years. You'll never need it again. Anyway, that's my advice for Fender Blackface combo amps. Like I said, I had a 65 Deluxe, 66 Fender Princeton Reverb. Both beautiful amps, point-to-point wiring, and you can't beat them. They're a little expensive nowadays. Princeton probably cost you a couple grand on eBay. Deluxe probably cost you $3,000. So they're a little overpriced for what you're really getting. I paid $75. I repeat, $75 for my Fender Princeton Reverb. It was a 66, and I bought it in 1972 and paid $75. So those were the good old days. Anyway, that's my tips on Fender Blackface combo amps. You can't go wrong. Use them. Don't abuse them. You'll love them.